The Denver Broncos just quietly made another great signing in this free agency period, going out and stealing a player that the team that had him really wanted to re-sign him. And I'm going to need all y'all's help in figuring out, like, what am I missing with this Denver Broncos over under? Am I just wearing the orange and blue glasses, or are we actually going to be better than a lot of people think we're going to be? So let's dive into the news of the day. If you're new to this channel, I'm Ben. I break down all things Denver sports. It helps me out a lot. If you also like the Broncos, if you would like and subscribe. So the Broncos went out and they signed Josh Reynolds, a very proven, great wide receiver who the Lions loved. I'm living in Michigan now. I was born and raised in Colorado, but I live in Michigan now, and all of my Lions fans who I saw at work today were bummed out to hear this news. And at the owners meeting, you even heard Brad Holmes come out and say they were hoping to re-sign Reynolds, that he'd been a great part of what they were doing there. They had a great, obviously their rookie tight end set brand new records for tight end production from a rookie. They have Amon St. Brown, who's a beast, and then Reynolds was a great part of this offense. And so he put up better production, had more touchdowns than Jerry Jeudy had. He's going to cost a fraction of what Jerry Jeudy cost, and we got 2 draft picks, a 5th and a 6th for Jerry Jeudy. So at the start of this offseason, if you'd said that we're just going to switch Jerry Jeudy with Reynolds, I would have been thrilled. And then if you said, oh, and you're only going to have to pay him maybe up to $14 million over 2 years, and you'll get the first Cleveland pick in the 5th round and their 6th round draft pick, it's an absolute no-brainer. So all this stuff has me wondering, how on earth, as we have our first over-unders, are the Denver Broncos only expected to have 5.5 wins this season? I do not see us regressing that much. We had 8 wins last year with close, like, heartbreaking losses because of missed field goals to the Raiders. That obviously crazy game that we lost to the Patriots. We lost that game to the Jets, where truly that was because that entire Jets franchise was playing for Nathaniel Hackett with all the drama that went into that game. We're down on the goal line on 4th and 8 with, a chance to beat the Houston Texans. So I just do not understand how we somehow got 3 games worse than we were last season, and how teams like the Los Angeles Chargers are expected, even with losing some of their great talent in Williams, in losing Austin Eckler, in losing Keenan Allen, how they are expected to be a 9-win team. I just do not, for the life of me, understand how the Denver Broncos are going to somehow get worse. If you look at our big moves this offseason, we lost Josey Jewell, which seemed like a huge loss, and we replaced him with Cody Reynolds. And we know that we're going to have Griffith back next year, and he should have been the starter if it wasn't for injury, above Singleton and Jewell. And that was our plan A. Josey Jewell truly was our plan B. We lost, obviously, Justin Simmons, who is a leader off the field, a NFL Man of the Year candidate, yet he still is a free agent now, so no other teams have scooped him up. And we got younger and much, much cheaper by bringing in Brandon Jones. We brought in Malcolm Roach, who was the best run-stopping defensive tackle in the entire NFL. And now we have an entire offseason where Sean Payton, we heard last year, all he did was install the very guardrails of this offense. And our last 8 games of the season, we were a great team. Like, if you extrapolate those last 8 games of the season, we're a playoff team. And so my thought of, like, somehow us regressing to 5 wins, I just don't see it. But I know I'm incredibly biased, and I wouldn't love making this channel if I didn't have hope, and I probably wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think we had hope. So I think this is great. If you look at Reynolds' production and the upgrade he is over Jerry Jeudy, he just makes catches that I never saw Jerry Jeudy make. Jerry Jeudy is one of the best route runners in the entire NFL, but we didn't have a quarterback who would hit him in stride and hit him on those. Whereas if you look at highlights of Reynolds, and I'll link them in the show notes for this episode, he is constantly winning 50-50 balls. He's going up for contested catches that Jerry Jeudy just didn't do. And we see that in Jerry Jeudy's entire career, he just does not have 11 career touchdowns. If we look at that, that's just not what you want. And you look at Reynolds, his pro prospect coming into the draft was that he would be an average starter. He got picked by the Rams. The Rams, obviously, with Puka Nacua, they just have an ability to identify great receivers, and so you trust their ability to find talent. And then we saw that talent actualized with Reynolds having 19 touchdowns in his 107-game career, which I just think is a great thing. Mace broke down the difference between Jerry Jeudy and Reynolds. Reynolds had a couple key drops, and if you remember that loss to the San Francisco 49ers where the Lions were up big on them, he did have quite a few drops. I think that is something that can be coached out. That is definitely a mental thing, and I would take a dude who is not a locker room diva, who players love and coaches love, even if he has some drops. So Reynolds' drop late was that he had a drop every almost 11 catches, where Jerry Jeudy had a drop every 18 catches. But Jeudy had more catches and yards the last 2 years, but Reynolds had a lot more touchdowns the past 2 years. So I think truly it is maybe a wash, but if you'd asked us at the start of the year or at the start of the offseason, hey, straight up swap Jerry Jeudy for Josh Reynolds, I think most of us would have taken that. I also think the price that we're getting him, when you see how much some of these receivers have been going for, you just can't believe it. And I'm happy, Titans overpaid for a receiver. And I think we got a good, capable receiver. And if you look at this receiver room, we now have Tim Patrick, hopefully, coming back from injury. We got Reynolds back in the mix here. We got Cortland Sutton, just a veteran Pro Bowl receiver. And then we know that one of the big things that was Marvin Mims, one of our Pro Bowl players, we were limiting Marvin Mims and his production because he played the same position as Jerry Jeudy. And so now we are going to be featuring him in there. And the hope would just be, does Dulcich come back from that injury? All of a sudden you have some really capable pass catchers. And I think with a rookie quarterback, that's going to be a very, very good thing. And then we got Javonte Williams coming back after a catastrophic 2-year knee injury. He'll be back in year 2, and I expect a big bounce back there. Obviously, I think we'll find more ways to get Jaleel McLaughlin the ball now that we know what he is capable of, and just the trust that Sean Payton in his second year, that we will know more of the offense and be able to run more of what he wants, and that he's going to have a quarterback from day one who runs the system that he wants. So I just have no idea how they're predicting that we only win 5 games. We swept the Chargers in both games pretty handily last year, and they're going to be worse. I think we split at least with the Raiders. I think we probably split with the Chiefs. We have a game with the Pittsburgh Steelers at home, and we're going to be so amped up to play Russell Wilson again. I think that's a win. We're going to play the Panthers at home. That's just a layup win. And I just don't see how we only end this year with 5 wins, but I could be definitely drinking the Orange and Blue Kool-Aid and need y'all to tell me. So the question, obviously, that we need answering, and we're going to hear a lot more, is who is the quarterback of the future? Just saw this hit. I do not think that Sean Payton is going to reach. I think he is going to draft his guy if he's there, and if his guy's not there, he's not going to draft a quarterback. And the question becomes, hey, could Joe Milton be his guy? This guy is a massive man. But you just see like how quick he is with that frame and that agility. Dude just lands a stinking backflip. I don't know a ton of quarterbacks who can throw the ball over the mountains like he can and do a backflip. Is Joe Milton in the 5th or 6th round? Is he a more athletic Brock Purdy someday? Or the other big question of the day is are the Denver Broncos actually gunning for Jaden Daniels? And that is why Sean Payton has been gushing about J.J. McCarthy to throw up kind of a smoke screen. You have Harbaugh saying J.J. McCarthy is the best quarterback he's ever seen throw at the pro day. Everyone is now, the Commanders take him at J.J. at 2, and the Giants trade up for Drake May maybe, and so somehow maybe Jaden Daniels falls to you. We know that Davis Webb, quarterback coach, Sean Payton, George Payton, are all at LSU Pro Day and will be meeting separately with Jaden Daniels. So that could be very interesting to see if we are in the mix there. And kind of to my point earlier about I do not think we are doing a tear it down to the studs rebuild. And I think if we were doing that, we would already start hedging our bets and helping fans prepare for that. I think Sean Payton and Greg Penner, they would need to kind of start priming the pump and letting fans know, like, hey, we know it's going to be a couple rough years, but we'll be back someday. They're not doing that. They raise the price of season tickets, and even just him already, he's not trying to tamp expectations. He's coming back and saying, my expectation is still that we improve this year. Well, remember, we were in the playoff hunt on Christmas Eve. We were in the playoff, like we won 5 incredibly difficult games that we were not favored in at all. So I really think that Broncos country, we're going to make the playoffs, and I know that would be an absolute shock. I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I would definitely be betting the over 5.5 wins for the Denver Broncos, because we are going to giddy up.